Today we're going to be looking at some cheap DIY Taranis Stick Guards. What is Taranis Stick Guard? Well, it kind of looks like this. You can get fancy ones that are nice and 3D printed, but if you're like me and you don't have a 3D printer and you don't want to go pay someone $20 to go use theirs, well then you're going to make one of these things. So I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. Okay, so you're going to need a couple of things for this build. You're going to need a piece of flat plastic or wood. I'm using something called styrene. If you've ever used styrene before, it's actually really incredible, really easy to cut, and then you can basically score it. So you can make a line, you can make a little mark, and then just rip it off, and it gives you a nice clean cut. Just do a little sanding and top it off. So we're going to use a piece of styrene. We've also got a piece of just block foam, and yeah, we just got to cut off the right size portion, the right height or thickness that you want, and then that's it. You take a little bit of glue. So I got the Weld Bond here, and this is probably like your Elmer's school glue. It's nothing, it's just that regular white stuff, but you know what, it does the job. E-tape, electrical tape, because what I did is I actually wrapped it around the foam just to give it a nice cleaner look. I didn't want to spray paint it, because then, like, you know, I don't know, the spray paint would fall off the little hard foam here. That would be kind of whack. So I was telling you before about this styrene material. I want to show you exactly how easy it is to cut. So I'll just grab any old X-Acto knife. You can use anything sharp, but a sharp knife is a safe knife. That might seem counterintuitive, but trust me, it's very true. Okay, check this out. Boom. A lot of people use this material for modeling, and there's some really wild stuff that people have made. I mean, you just type in styrene, S-T-Y-R-E-N-E, styrene projects, and you'll see all kinds of stuff. I'll let you do that on your own. We're here to find out how we can make some cheap stick guards for our Taranis. Okay, so now you know what the styrene is all about. You can get it in all kinds of different colors. Personally, I buy it in white and black. I buy it in 4 by 8 foot sheets, which are approximately $30 each. So this stuff here is just block foam, whatever. We're going to cut about 1 inch. Nice straight even cut is what you want to do, just because you don't want it to be lopsided. So now you got a nice clean piece. As you can see how old this block foam is, which is why I'm using it. Alright, so we got our piece, but we need our little circle, our topper. The reason I want to put the topper on here is because it's nice and stiff. The foam is a little bit soft and forgiving, and this will just give it a lot more rigidity. So now we got our piece of styrene that I kind of pre-sized for this project here. Not really much of a project. We're going to actually retract that because I don't want to cut myself. It's a very well used knife. Probably just snip the tip off there and go to a freshie, but it is all good. So I'm just going to score it. You don't need to go too deep. We're going to come back after this little guide / piece of tape has been removed. Now that we got rid of it, I don't know how well you guys can see that on the camera, but we got a nice perfect circle there. Now if you try and dig out a perfect circle here and try and cut through the styrene, it's going to take you a really, really long time. So here's what I recommend doing, because as you know, it cuts fairly simply. I'm going to get my head out of the video camera shot here and just cut off a few pieces. You're going to have little corners and nubs that you're going to have to sand away, but this is probably going to be the fastest method to do this. And I don't know about you, but I hate taking 4 hours to do a little tiny job that can be done in 5 minutes. Alright, so I think I'm pretty good here. Let's just match it up to my first one. And it's pretty much a perfect fit. So let's get rid of the old snips. grab yourself any old sandpaper is fine, but if you use something with a really rough grit, it'll work a little bit faster, although it's not necessarily as smooth as sand. But we're not looking for perfection here. This is not to be seen. This is to protect. Not bad. Okay, now we need to put a hole in it, and to do that, we need a drill. Okay, just find a center hole, just find the center, or at least as close as you possibly can. When you think you have it, don't start drilling. Give it a twist. Just turn it around, see how it's spinning. Are you a little off axis? There we go, I think I might have that. Alright. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Now we need something a little bit wider than this particular bit, which is too narrow for us. I'll put that right here. And this is the bit that I used. It was I didn't measure anything out. I just kept finding I kept trying different bits till I found the right size. So you could probably do the same. Before you actually glue, remember we're going to be using this white school glue kind of stuff. You got your piece. This styrene plastic is very smooth. If you just put glue on it, it's not going to have a lot of stick. You got to take some sandpaper and you got to give it a little bit of surface texture. And that just really gives the glue something to grab. And it just makes your life a lot easier. Makes it stick on. Nothing crazy, just enough that you can see a bunch of lines, because it's just room for the glue to go out. Alright, depending on the materials that you're working with, this might be a little bit of a different step for you, but for me, what I'll be doing is I just take a little bit of the glue here, okay, just give her a spread, nice and thin. You don't want thick blotches. Thin glue dries faster. And the reason I do that first is because I want it to dry just a little touch, so it gets kind of a little bit of a stickiness to it. Then we're going to take, remember this is going to be the top, because this is the nice cleaner cut hole on the bottom. So this foam is very porous. You got to use a little bit more glue than you'd expect. You just put a little ringer like that on top, it's not enough. The problem is, because of all of the surface area on this foam, there's not a lot of stick. So you gotta get it on there nice and thick. And then once you got a nice healthy portion, I mean, every application's a little different. Just kind of, you almost gotta shove it into the foam. That way, when the top layers dry to this plastic styrene piece, the glue that is inside the foam will continue to dry and then dry to the top of the foam part. So, gives you a better stick. I don't know about you, but I prefer to do things once, not twice. Alright, so we got our foam. It's all glued up. Nice and thick. We got our little piece, and then we're just going to connect them together. As you can see, we got the little hole there. Let's grab the Taranis. I'll show you what it looks like. Did it work? Obviously, you want to clean it up before you're really going to use it, but other than that, you slip it on. Boom. Good to go. Once you've let this cure, dry, this particular kind of glue takes an hour to dry, but it takes 24 hours to cure and gain its full strength. So I'm just going to let this one sit and hang out. It's actually going to be my my third one, because I've got the first one I made, which was not bad. I've got the third one I've made, but the second one, I've left one step off. It's now had its time to cure and get really solidly connected. We're going to take a piece of E-tape. Yep, struggling to get the tape off. Sure, when you're putting it on straight. Okay. There we go. This is numbers 1 and 2. Slip them right on your Taranis, like so. Boom. And that's it.